About Liverpool actually, because you kind of got embarrassed against Luton, and then last night was a weird one because you didn't deserve to win, but then you drew the game, and one of the another crazy VAR decision has robbed. Listen, your performance didn't warrant a draw, but that isn't how football works. You got the draw, and it was taken away from a handball that isn't a handball.
Mm-hmm.
Far too far back the VAR went, and like, what did you make of the performance first of all, and then touch on the VAR stuff?
The performance was horrible. First of all, I think Luton and Toulouse were two completely different games. Luton was a bad day at the office. I accept that. Because Luton, we just had so many chances and we missed them all. I already said my opinion on the top 6 show as well. But my honest opinion with the Luton game is completely different. With Toulouse, we didn't create enough chances at all. We did not create enough chances to win that game. I can't even remember any clear-cut chances. I can't even remember any clear-cut opportunities that we created in the game and we just missed it or something. We didn't really have that much creativity. This is probably one of the first times this season I will blame Klopp. I haven't blamed Klopp for any result this season. This is the first game this season where I think he deserves criticism because his substitutions made us lose all balance in the game. There was simply a lack of balance in that game. In that second half, it's like he switched on the ultra-offensive mode and all balance was lost. Costas Tsimikas, just absolutely dreadful performance yesterday. Quivin Kelleher for that third goal specifically as well. Absolutely dreadful performance. And Endo as well. Another bad performance from Endo. This makes you think, if only all the people who were screaming out for a DM this summer were actually we actually got listened to and we signed the DM, maybe we wouldn't be in this position. Liverpool Football Club start the season and literally prove everything that we're saying, everything we said in the summer still stands. We've watched the first 15 games in all comps, and I still say we need a centre back and we need a DM. Those two things have not changed. Centre back, I may accept maybe, if Matip and Gomez play well, fair enough. I'm not going to say anything crazy. But with the DM, we definitely need a DM. 100 million % we need a DM. And I think for me, with the whole DM situation as well, the problem is now in the general transfer window, it might be a bit more difficult. And we see with Andre going to Fulham now, the guy that we've been scouting in Brazil, if Fulham have a free ride at him, basically, then we have to sit there and we have to look at which other DMs are available in the market. And, maybe there's been talks of Palhina, there's been talk of other players, but other than that, there isn't really, the DM market right now stinks, let's just say it as it is. So there isn't really that many midfielders who could come in and make a difference.
I agree. Yeah, Endo's not that guy. Endo's just not that guy. And this isn't about someone that needs to get to the pace of the game. He just isn't that guy.
They wanted apologies after a good 45 minutes versus Leicester. They start asking for apologies, asking for sorry. Now what?
It's just ridiculous. He's just you're playing a championship team. He was good. He'd be a good championship player. He just isn't Premier League level. He isn't even Europa League level, really, because every time I see him, it feels like every time I watch him start a game for you, he gets pulled off. Like Klopp just goes, no. You can see why McAllister is starting out of position instead of him. So that's an area that you need to look at. Are you worried about? I know you scored 5 against Toulouse a week before.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask you about Darwin Núñez though, because it went a little bit unnoticed last night. That just like against Luton, in the reason that Kwanzaa got the shot was because of another scuffed effort from Darwin Núñez. Are you worried about him because the level of easy chances that he's missed in the last 2 games have essentially, I know yes these would have been ruled out for the handball, but if Kwanzaa's not sitting there, that is another miss from him. He missed 3 or 4 absolute goals that are easier to score than they are to miss. Harder to miss, than it is to score from it. Are you starting to worry about Darwin Núñez? Because I still see a lot of Liverpool fans are like, no, he's going to come good, give him patience. But he's almost 18 months into his journey with you now.
Darwin Núñez is only going to get this season from me, personally. I'm not going to start season 2 by saying the same stuff I said in season 1. Oh my God, he gets into the right positions. Oh my God, he gets himself into dangerous positions. If only he could work on his finishing. Yeah, if we could work on his finishing is a statement we made for 90% of the strikers across our life. There is a reason why finishing is probably the highest valued attribute of a striker, aka Erling Haaland and other strikers who are a lot more clinical. Darwin misses too many chances. That's just the reality. He misses too many chances. And he needs to start taking his opportunities because people laugh at it. I don't know what kind of freakish thing people have going on with Nunes, where it's like, ha ha ha, it's funny and shit. I don't find it funny. What if we lose a trophy? What if, this is the FA Cup final, this is the Carabao Cup final, and he misses a 1-on-1 and we end up losing the trophy? It won't be funny then. So all this ha ha crap doesn't run with me. And with Endo, he's going to start against Brentford because McAllister's suspended because of the yellow card thing. So McAllister's suspended for the yellow card thing. Curtis Jones is injured. So now it's going to be Endo starting in midfield. Now, the problem is people don't like to admit this, but this is the reality of football. The Premier League is the one league on earth where you need pace and power more than anything else. And I've always said, you either have pace and power, or you have pace only or power only. The problem with Endo is he's got no pace, he's got no power, he's got no PNP, and even yesterday he actually won 0 ground duels in the first half. So if you're not fast, you're not strong, you get pushed off the ball, your passing ability ain't the best, and you're not winning me ground duels, what are you doing on the pitch exactly? And this is the problem. We've left ourselves a massive gaping hole in this midfield. We try to do the whole kumbaya thing, defend together, attack together. It doesn't work. You need a defensive midfielder. And no successful team has been successful without a DM for the last 10 years. You look at us, Fabinho, you look at Fernandinho, Rodri, you look at Casemiro for Real Madrid, you look at Busquets for Barcelona. You keep going on and on and on with teams who had defensive midfielders playing in there and doing what they have to do. And that's the problem. It's just we're in a position now where we still need a DM. It's not like I watched the first 15 games and go like, oh my God, they proved me wrong. No, they haven't. We need a DM. And this is why I say we're not ready, by the way. This is another thing that I want to talk about. This is why I say we're not ready. When we say, Hussam, why do you think Arsenal are going to win the league? Why do you think Arsenal are better than us? Why do you think City are better than us? Yeah, because we're not ready. And the funny thing is, all the positive merchants now are saying the same shit I said 4 months ago. Buy a DM. All we had to do was just buy a defensive midfielder. Name one successful team who didn't have a DM. It's impossible. You won't find one.
Mate, I totally agree. But then you get comments like this. Maradon says, Terry, Nunes has more Premier League goals than Højlund, so he's doing good. Again,
why is Højlund the benchmark?
So again, Højlund is exactly Højlund at 20 years old should not be the benchmark for a 24-year-old who's one of your record signings. Secondly, Man United as a collective team are underperforming. We know, but I'm telling you now, the chances I've seen Darwin Núñez miss this season, Højlund scores. We've seen what he's done in the Champions League when chances have been created. Højlund's very good. We just ain't creating the chances for him. If Højlund was missing all those gilt-edged chances, then I'd be saying the same thing. However, he's not the benchmark. This is what always happens. I'm not saying my team's brilliant, your team's rubbish, ha, ha, ha. I'm not even saying Liverpool rubbish. I think the lack of clinical edge from your attacking line bar in Mo Salah and the lack of DM is why you're not winning a Premier League. That's got to be the target. And if your team isn't good enough to win a Premier League, a Man United fan who is unbiased talking about it is not me being salty. It's the reality of the situation. And I agree with Sam. I think there's talent in Darwin Núñez, but you can't be 24, turning 25, missing the abundance of sitters that he misses and just saying it will be okay. He will come good. But 18, 19, 20, 21, maybe. But man's in his mid-20s. He's about to hit his pomp. Those chances need to be taken. And yes, some people call it stat padding. I don't care. If you're 2-0 up and then that third goal, that easy chance that he misses puts you 3-0 up, it means you can take your foot off the gas for the last 20 minutes of the game, which gives you more energy for the next match. None of the goals are unimportant. They're needed. But if you're only winning 1-0, maybe only 2-1 up, and he's missing all these sitters, it means the game is intense for 90 minutes. Over the course of a 60-game season across all comps, that kills your legs. The reason why City last year did a treble, part of the reason is they killed so many games off early with an abundance of goals, which means they could play in second gear for 30 minutes, take off their star players, and help stay fresh all season. So this is, again, coming from someone whose team has multiple times in my lifetime done doubles, Premier League, Champions League doubles, Premier League and League Cup doubles, and of course the treble. That is how it's done, is when you have prolific players and people performing almost at their optimum all the time. And it's the one thing with Darwin, which is the red flag, is the Captain Chaos nonsense. He's always in the right place and he runs hard and he's a menace. That's great. But if at the end of it, you're missing so many sitters, you need to find someone that can create that chaos and score. At the end of the day, that's not even a dig. It's just the truth. And I agree with you. I think he's got until the end of this season, but a big club, and we look at City for me are the benchmark in England. If Haaland wasn't scoring how he was and was missing most of his chances, he'd get a year or two and he'd be replaced like every other player there. So if you've got to find better than Darwin. If you can't find better than him, then maybe he stays. But it's like there is better options out there. I mean, there was a better option in the summer that you should have gone after. His name was Harry Kane. We've seen how well he's doing. Victor Osimhen could be better. Ivan Toney is available in January. There are players out there that you could bring in that could score more goals. And with Mo Salah potentially leaving in the summer, you need goals. Because when he goes, and he very much could go in the summer, who is going to score for Liverpool? Now, you could argue Spurs have improved without Harry Kane, so maybe with the extra responsibility, a Darwin or a Luis Diaz steps up, or Gakpo and scores more. But I still think
that rarely
more
happens.
goals.
You know that rarely happens. Because Diaz as well, by the way, is almost 27 soon. You know, Gakpo is not like he's Gakpo's younger, you know, so he still has time to improve. But players who are like, players can improve to an extent. Like, of course, players can improve. You can improve even when you're 30. We've seen Mo Salah's playmaking and other elements of his game improve as he gets older. But look, there's a limit. There's a balance with it. And with the whole striker situation and with the whole DM situation, the problem is you've either got to go big or you've got to go do some wild shit, or you've got to, you know, pay 100 million, pay over the top money. You know, I know you've probably heard Tom Little say he'd pay 70 million for Decore. That's because he's an absolute idiot. Big up Tom Little, but he's an idiot, 100%. So yeah, we're screwed. And this is why I said the only way, you know, I keep getting asked, Hussam, are Spurs dark horses? No, they're not. We're the dark horses. Liverpool are the dark horse for this season's league. This season's league is going to be contested by Arsenal and City all the way. And we'll be the third team. We'll be the dark horse. And the only way we win the league or upgrade ourselves to challenging seriously and being in the mix seriously, like till the last game, is if we sign a DM. That's just the ultimate reality, you guys. We cannot lie to each other. This needs to be fixed in the market.
Totally agree with you. I do.